Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News Show. Got a couple of news releases to talk about on the show today. I'm going to get right into it with the share screen here. The first company we're going to talk about is Delta Resources. This is a sponsor of the show, so glad to be able to do a lot of coverage on this company because I think they've got something quite special developing on their project in Thunder Bay, Ontario. This is a near surface discovery, so an open pit type target, but it's also got a second element that's quite exciting in that it also has high grade gold in that, and where that comes from deeper still remains to be seen. But today they announced 2.25 grams per ton of gold over 27 meters and multiple new high-grade gold zones at depth at the Delta 1 project in Thunder Bay, Ontario. This project is only 50 kilometers west of Thunder Bay, Ontario, just off the highway, so it gives them great access to the project. You don't have to build a camp. People can stay in their homes and own beds in Thunder Bay, and that makes for a very attractive place to work and build a mine, and I think they're heading in that direction. These are 5 holes that they've released from the recent drilling. So far this year, they've released 28 drill holes that you can find in these 2 news releases referenced here. So far this year, they've drilled 60 holes for a total of 620 meters, and they have results pending for 15 more drill holes. As you can see here, that's the headline from the highlights: 2.25 grams per ton of gold over 27.8 meters. There were 2 meter interval grading 16.16 grams per ton of gold. So there's that example of the high grade that is included in this open pit target. And this intersection extends the beta zone near surface for 50 meters west of drill holes 29 and 30. Further extending a zone grading over 2 grams per ton of gold at surface. Now, to put that into context, a lot of open pit mines these days are being mined at a 0.5 gram per ton of gold. So when you're getting into that 2 gram number, that's a very high grade situation for an open pit target. Hole 70 extended the mineralized envelope 100 meters west of hole 69. With near surface gold intercepts grading significantly what is anticipated as cutoff grades of 0.3 grams per ton of gold for a potential open pit operation. So when you see this 0.3 grams per ton of gold, that's basically what your cost would be in a mining operation, and that's why how they calculate a cutoff grade. So as you can see here, if you've got 2 gram per ton material and it only costs you about 1/3 of a gram per ton to get that out of there, you've got a very profitable operation. And that's what I mean by this is high grade for an open pit target. They also had hole 67.95 grams per ton of gold over 20 meters. And it fills a gap in drilling between holes 38 and 39, or 38 and 40, shows the continuity of gold mineralized zone to the east of the northeast trending cross fault responsible for the offset of the mineralized zone. So when you see the map later, this offset caused by a cross fault will make more sense. Hole 68 intersected 0.54 grams per ton of gold over 64.6 meters. And that is 100 meters below drill hole 40, east of the northeast trending cross fault. They had In hole 67, they intersected 24.4 grams per ton of gold over 1.5 meters. So there again is that element of the high grade coming up into that open pit near surface target. Hole 68 intersected 3 new zones, returning 0.98 grams per ton of gold over 27.3 meters. 12.5 grams per ton of gold over 1 meter and 11.2 grams per ton of gold over 1.5 meters. So there again is that high grade element. And Andre Tessier, who is the president and CEO, commented, and I quote, "We continue to receive very encouraging drill results at Delta 1, and our level of excitement continues to grow. The new results are actively being integrated into an ongoing geological modeling and target review process. Once this review process has been completed, we look forward to continuing the drill program with the objective of growing the size of this very exciting gold project in this exceptional Canadian location surrounded by tremendous infrastructure," end quote. Again, just off a highway, 50 kilometers from Thunder Bay. Really couldn't ask for a better place to find an open pit target. Here's the table of results. More on the geological discussion. Their next steps. They'll give you details on their next steps. But before I close on this company, I wanted to get down to this map, because this is what really interests me. Is they have here, so here's that cross fault that they're talking about. Over here, they've got lots of gold mineralization in these zones that they have highlighted in pink. And then they've drilled over here and they've got some excellent holes. So the mineralization continues on the other side of that fault, but it could be offset somewhat, which is what they were talking about. And then over here is their east extension, where they've hit some spectacularly high grades as well. And it looks like they're looking to continue finding that where that trend goes in that direction. They have pending holes from over here and over here, as well as over in here. These ones really interest me because this would give you a pretty significant, 500-meter step out there to go with what they've already established over in here. This hole shows you the good continuity of the grades and good distribution of the grades. Down here, you start to see these new high-grade zones that are coming in. And that's very interesting because this could be associated, or it could be an overprint onto what they've already found. Quite an exciting development. So I like to see these situations develop like this. So it shows you that not only do they have this near surface open pit target, but then they got these juicy numbers as you're getting deeper into the system. And where that takes you still remains to be seen, but that's a pretty exciting scenario. Alrighty, so that's the Delta Resources news. A good place to continue your homework on them is to go to their website, check out their news releases, check out their corporate presentation. The company does a very good job of presenting what they have. They're well cashed up, this target has got me very excited. I'm seeing the elements of what goes into finding an open pit mine, but that high grade in there as well has me really intrigued as to what is causing that. And they talk about the work that they're doing to further understand the system. But it's a pretty exciting one to take a look at. Alrighty, so the next company I'm going to talk about today is, where is it now? Hold on a second here. I just got to highlight it properly. The next one I'm going to talk about is Meridian Mining. And Meridian Mining has a very exciting VMS system in Brazil. And I think they're onto something pretty spectacular here. They've got they think that they have an entire belt of VMS systems or deposits. The two main ones are Cabeçal and Santa Helena. The Santa Helena is the one that they put out news today of base metal, gold and base metal assays up to 6.7% copper equivalent. Intercepts multiple zones. They've intercepted multiple zones of high grade copper, gold, silver, and zinc mineralization. That was 6.8 meters new results include 6.8 meters at 4.9% copper equivalent, starting at 38.7 meters below surface. They had a 5.8 meter hit at 4.5% copper equivalent, starting at 32.2 meters, a 7.2 meter intersection at 4% copper equivalent from 35.5 meters. So this VMS is coming right to surface, making for a heck of an open pit target. They say that Santa Helena is one of many high priority targets within the 55 kilometer Cabeçal volcanic massive sulfide belt. They're not just looking for one or two VMS systems, they're looking for several of them. And that's the nature of VMS systems, where you find volcanogenic massive sulfide deposits. You usually find several, and they've got a big land package, and they're looking for a cluster of these VMS systems. Locally, it is part of a highly prospective open trend that through drilling, soil surveys, and geophysics has now been extended to over 3.1 kilometers. That's at Santa Helena alone. They're continuing drilling at Santa Helena and the Cabeçal mine with further results pending. Then they give you the details on more of the holes. Even one had up to 1.7 meters of 6.7% copper equivalent. And they're getting a good mix of copper, gold, some silver, as well as zinc in there. And those are the key metals that you find in these VMS deposits. And there's zonation of grade, oftentimes where you find the silver zinc component, you keep following that closer to the source and you get the copper and gold kicks up. And so they're seeming to get both of those in very attractive grades. So it's quite an exciting VMS target. They're doing infill and extension drilling at Cabeçal as well. And it continues to deliver robust gold and copper mineralization. True width is considered to be 80 to 90% of the intersection width. So they're drilling at an angle, and depending on the mineralization, it can affect the true width. Gilbert Clark, but not significantly here. Gilbert Clark, who's the CEO, commented, and I quote, "The company is very pleased with the continued flow of strong gold and base metal intersections from Santa Helena at depths within easy reach of a potential open pit development. In addition, our ongoing geophysical program continues to map the prospective VMS target horizon as the survey continues to extend southeast from Santa Helena. Santa Helena's host geology has now been mapped over 3.1 kilometers and is open along strike and down plunge, delivering more upside to test going forward. Santa Helena is evolving to be a second potential open pittable resource target within the Cabeçal belt and is only a short trucking distance to the Cabeçal mine." So when they're talking about you know, they've got like a 3.1 kilometer sheet, and then it goes down. So where that takes you, it could take you closer to the heat source. This, what they've been drilling, could be the distal portion or the extension of a much bigger system. And so that's very impressive as well. Here you can see where they've got their mineralized envelope, and still wide open. There's another map in here. So, okay, so now you can take a look at the plan view. And this is very exciting because most of all the drilling has been done over here, and sampling as well has been done over here. Still remains wide open for more drilling. But then you've got this big area in here and down here that remains open. And if it plunges as you go in that direction, it could keep going for a lot longer distance. So that's, I'm looking forward to seeing more drilling in this area. And over in here where you get some good kicks of gold in the surface sampling. Now, the gold is associated with the copper and the other mineralization. So where you do find some gold, you're often got a good shot of finding more of that VMS system in that direction. And they give you more details about the project. But again, what excites me is that they're looking for an entire belt of VMS systems. And what also excites me is the economic numbers that they put out in their preliminary economic assessment for the Cabasal mine itself. It's a low cost, under $200 million to bring it into production in a world where most mines these days cost over $1 billion to develop. It's got an extremely high IRR of 58%. And that's why you've got a place where you have low cost of production and high grade makes for a very powerful internal rate of return. When you have a low capex to build it and you have a high IRR, is why they can pay back that the capex costs in under a year. These kind of projects just don't come along very often. I think Meridian has a very special one, and I highly advise you to take a look at the company and do your homework on the company. So there you go. That's the show for today, folks. I got a couple news releases. I got some interviews set up for later in the week, one or two at least. And I got some more companies that I'm going to feature. Some of them are sponsors like these two companies today, but I've got some others that are new companies that I'm covering. And I think you'll want to do your homework on everything that I'm working on, and that's the nature of this show. I'm not making buying or selling recommendations. That's entirely up to you, your financial advisors, doing your homework to assess whether or not they make sense for you and your risk profile. But as far as I'm concerned, based on my 30 years of experience in the exploration business, these companies are ones you want to check out when you're looking for exploration and development kind of stories. And on that note, have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.